pleasure to be the kickoff speaker, and I really want to hear everyone say yes.
Yeah.
All right. It always makes me nervous when a room full of salespeople are not saying yes, I want to drive more revenue. So when social media, you need to know that it's more than just the technology. What's critically important is that you are communicating the right message at the right time, and it's relevant to the person who can buy from you. It's a great point. Other questions? When you saw that I was going to be here this morning, you saw this as a topic for the agenda. What were you hoping to actually accomplish or leave this session with? You can get visibility using tools like LinkedIn, like Twitter. Anybody here heard of a little publication called the Harvard Business Review? Okay. All right. So I had the pleasure of being published in the Harvard Business Review in the July-August 2012 edition. If you're curious, look it up. It's called Tweet Me, Friend Me, Make Me Buy. Now, the story behind that opportunity, and all I ever did, I'm a writer, and I enjoy writing content and that sort of thing. And so about 5 years ago, I wrote on my list that I actually wanted to write for Harvard Business Review. I didn't know how it was going to happen. Didn't really matter. I didn't need to know. I just knew at some point I would write for them. Well, last February, lo and behold, I get a tweet from one of the editors from Harvard Business Review who says, we are going to do an update on the state of sales as a business, and we know how important social is, so we would like you, if you're interested, to write an article for us. You seem to be the go-to person. All right, so that came to me over Twitter, followed by an email. Now, how long, after I picked myself up off the floor, how long do you think it took me to respond and say yes? All right, pretty cool, right? So when I asked them, what led you to me, the answer was this. And this is important for you to think about. This is how visibility works, and it's not always linear. So about a year and a half ago, a couple of the editors had actually heard me speak on a webinar. That led to them signing up for the newsletter. They started following me on Twitter and LinkedIn. When they knew they needed to write the article because I had been true to my brand, and I'm going to talk more about what that means, that led to them approaching me. Now, what you need to understand, I'm not telling you this to brag, although it is pretty cool and I'm very proud of it. I'm telling you this because numerous people have come up to me and said, how did your PR people do that? So there's this assumption that you have to pay someone to go get you that kind of coverage. You do not. Right? It works the same way for sales opportunities. We're going to talk about how that visibility works. Any other thoughts before I really jump into the meat of it? And again, I'm going to keep it interactive. I want to encourage you to ask questions throughout. I will manage the time, and if I feel I need to hold something, I'll do that, okay? If you ask a question and I don't know the answer, my commitment to you is I will get that answer. So I want to talk first a little bit about this notion of social selling versus social media marketing. They're different. You need to understand what that means. I want to talk about using LinkedIn to create those sales opportunities. We're going to talk about business intelligence and a process for engaging people using this wealth of information, because you can leverage technology to your advantage to really make it work for you. But at the heart of it, it's not so much about the technology, it's about you. It's about you being very clear in the message that you are communicating to people. To get more leads in the pipeline, closing deals more quickly, right? And amping up that revenue. So it fits predominantly in the front end. Now, you can use it for customer relationship management, and you can use it for following your competition. How many of you are Twitter users? All right, so let me rephrase that. How many of you have a Twitter profile? All right, now are all of you still actively tweeting? Those same hands are all pretty much, okay, some of you are not, and that's all right. So here's what I also want you to know about Twitter. Even if you never sent a tweet, the information that you can garner from that platform in terms of what your prospects might be thinking about, what your competitors are doing, is huge. And you can use technology in a way that helps you manage that. All right, so let's talk about marketing for a second, because there's often confusion about this. I don't want you thinking that just because your marketing team, which by the way, they're doing a very good job in social, they're not going to do it all for you, because there's aspects of the process that you need to be involved in as well. So I wanted to briefly touch on the big four, and only because I want you to be very clear about how these platforms fit in terms of business-to-business selling, okay? LinkedIn, by the way, just a week ago crossed over 200 million users. It's really evolved as a platform. I was one of the first 1 million members, been using it since the very first year that it came out. I'm here to tell you it has really evolved significantly as a sales tool. And identified an opportunity based on keywords in a conversation, had a contract that day. How many of you would like that to happen? Okay? You can't close business any faster than that. And if you're intentional and you're paying attention and you know what to do when you engage with that individual, you have just taken that sales cycle and shrunk it down. So Twitter has a lot of applicability and value. Who said that? It does grab more attention, right? Real estate agents knew this a long time ago. This is why they started putting their picture on a business card. When you have someone's picture, you feel that you are connected to them. All right, so the images have gotten larger. We're going to talk about some other things. There is no denying that video sells. Now, how many of you in this room have a presentation and or white paper and or video on your LinkedIn profile? Got a half a hand over there, got one hand there, here, me. I know Todd does. Are you just tired, or have you really not leveraged the power of adding media to your profiles? All right, put that on your homework, because we're going to talk about how you can use that. All right, so let's talk about this buyer. Today's buyer, now, Serious Decisions says it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 65 to 70%. Harvard Business Review and Gartner say it's in the neighborhood of 80. I don't care which number you put on it. The reality is they are going out and they are searching for information about your products and services. So for that very reason, you need to know that when you are found, you are compelling. What you communicate on your profile needs to sell the value of what your company, what your service delivers to a customer.